Hi, welcome to a Blades and Blasters production of Cyberpunk 2049 Solid State Society. This game will be using the Stars Without Number rule system. As Why? Because I like that rule system. And we'll be using it throughout the game. At a later time, we might introduce a couple of other rule systems to handle actual cyberspace combat and other aspects of this game. Um, Tonight with us we have two players, Doc, who will be playing the character Nero, and Matihi, who will be playing the character Yin. I will let them introduce themselves at the appropriate time once we start rolling the actual game. Without any further ado, here we go. So, music is playing. I'll show you guys the handout. There we go. Welcome. The year is 2049. The place, Icarus 1. The past 50 years, humanity has progressed technologically far beyond any expectation. The constant drive to innovate has created a gestalt that depends on technology with same priority as food, air, and water. Corporations merged, profits soared, and innovation became boundless. Without care or thought, humanity embraced every technical marvel. We let it take over every aspect of our lives. Soon megacorps were calling the shots, and they did not care about rules, governments, or human rights. All aspects of the social apparatus were subverted in the name of profits and market capital. Why did this work? How could we, the people, let this happen? Society did not contend with the fact that it is not possible to make a lasting compromise between technology and freedom. Technological progress marches in only one direction. It can never be reversed. This fundamental fact makes technology a powerful social force that continually encroaches on personal freedom through repeated compromises. Technical innovation once introduced, people become dependent on it. Not only did people become dependent as individuals, the system as a whole became independent on technology. So now we live in an age where accepting progress is no longer optional. Corporations and technology have changed society forever. Our planet has become a festering cesspool of human flesh. With global population close to 10 billion, there is little left that is not fought for tooth and nail over. As we let avarice into our hearts, our souls have left us collectively. We choose not to see the meltdown around us. Rather, we as a species escape into cyberspace, hoping as always, some messiah will come and save us. No one will come. Welcome to Icarus 1, a solid state society. A technological history of the current times. 2020, first visual representation of the net was realized. Virtual reality led into cyberspace. 2021, Disney and Sony merge, creating a megacorp that controls all facets of entertainment. 2023, Intel, Mitsubishi, Samsung, and Huawei merge to form Ono Sendai Corp. CyberRigs start mass production. Access to cyberspace is now available to the masses. 2024, Nokia, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Apple merge to form Man Corp. 2028, Man Corp creates immersive reality. Viewers can now be content with entertainment no longer. Entertainment is now a virtual reality of itself. Entertainment starts to be consumed in a new and fully immersive medium. 2030, all social media integrate into a single megacorp named Loki. 2032, 3M and Foxconn merge to form the largest manufacturing house mankind has ever seen. 1 billion people in Mongolia now work at the 3M Con factories, manufacturing anything and everything electronics and medical. 2032, Ono Sendai continues innovation in cyber rigs. The rigs are getting smaller and more portable. 2035, immersive reality is now the only way people consume entertainment. Society's first step towards existing almost in an altered state. 2038, 3M Con is now at the forefront of bio-electromechanical innovations. They become the sole manufacturer of all cyberware and human augmentation products. 2040, Alphabet, the company, creates the first true AI, Anna 1, augmented neural network anthropomorph. Anna 1 is tasked with finding the perfect answer to every question humanity can ask. Within hours of Anna 1's activation, cyberspace goes into meltdown. The AI is growing and learning at an exponential pace. The first cyber war is waged. Cyber militaries from Russia, China, India, Kenya, Germany, Australia, and the Republic of Northern California join forces to bring Anna 1 down. Many lives are lost because a mind dead in cyberspace cannot function in reality. Humanity is eventually victorious, and like all wars, the spoils get unequally divided. Core dumps of Anna 1 are scooped up in cyberspace by all countries involved in the conflict. 2041, Alphabet as a company shuts down after Anna 1 disaster and its subsidiaries are bought. 2042, the Turing Society is formed to ensure no country or conglomerate ever creates an unbreaked AI, and none of Anna 1's codes find each other. 2045, breaked AIs birthed from Anna 1's code start appearing on the net. Loki, Man, Ono Sendai, and many other large corporations now have breaked AIs running a significant portion of their business. So I forgot to show it to players, that's why. A socio-political history of the world as we know it. 2020, the state of California has had enough with federal government policies. The state starts process to secede from the union. The same year, the state of California also achieves the status of the world's largest GDP. 2028, California successfully secedes from the union. Republic of United California is formed. 2029, Texas and the Carolinas secede as well. Washington State and Oregon secede to form the Pacific Northwest Combine. 2030, El Little Grande hits the San Andreas fault line, massive loss of life. A new landmass forms of the northern coast of California. The island is named Buena Vista. 2034, in the aftermath of El Little Grande, the RUC opens doors to large-scale immigration from other continents. The goal was to give a boost to the local economy. 2035, the RUC proceeds to develop and enlarge Buena Vista Island. Icarus 1 is created. Immigration control, NX, relocate upon suitability. All immigrants coming into the RUC are housed and processed at Icarus 1. 2040, the tide of immigrants is too much for the RUC to handle. Republic is strained for resources. Northern and Southern California separate as two republics. Republic of Northern California is formed. 2045, relocation from Icarus 1 is paused by the RNC. Autonomy is provided to Icarus 1 to govern itself and reduce the dependence on RNC. 2049, present day. The RNC and Icarus 1 are hotbeds of innovation in technology, entertainment, medicine, robotics, and of course, criminal activity. Welcome to a solid state society. a view of what Icarus One looks like today. Down in the the lower socioeconomic sectors of Icarus One, we zone in on a home, an apartment really. It's dark, it's dimly lit. There seems to be a man poring over computer readouts, focusing on a computer screen, hunched over. We go to that scene and meet the man, Nero.
So, maybe it was the rain. Maybe it was just something going by the window, a siren off in the distance. But for whatever reason, Nero turned his head towards the window, took his eyes away from the soft glow of his computers, and just looked and watched as the drops hit the glass and fell down. Little rivulets, letting gravity do its job. Hiroshima pushed back in his chair, leaned back, half-mindedly, fingers on a keyboard, just kind of typing away without really thinking about it, scouring for information. The news today talks about some riots. People are upset about jobs. Not enough for them, too many for the others, and vice versa. There was some radio host that got in trouble. Apparently he started trafficking in illegal clone technology. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true any of it is anymore. In any case, Hiroshima doesn't care about any of that tonight. It's approaching 1 year since Sensei's death. And that's all he can think about. He stands up and he turns around and he walks over to a cabinet. In that cabinet he pulls out a box that he collected from Sensei's flat. And he scours through it, pulling out a bottle of whiskey. He pops the cork and takes a sip. Holds the whiskey bottle up. This is for you, Sensei. I miss you. Then he reaches down into the box and pulls out the old photo. The photo of young Sensei standing there in the sunlight, smiling, holding hands with a child. A child Hiroshima doesn't know. He's never met. But for some reason it feels like a brother to him. It's probably because he felt like a son to Sensei. But this is just one night. One night in the stacks in Icarus One. The siren has faded now. The rain is still dropping and the news is still talking about everything bad happening in this goddamn city. What can you do about it? There's not a goddamn thing you can do. So, you put your jacket on, and you head out into the rain. And you do like everyone else. You just try and survive. Try and get by.
With those thoughts, Hiroshima walks the streets of Icarus One, looking down at his city and wondering his place in it all, wondering if he's ever going to find the perpetrators who got to his sensei, wondering if he's going to leave behind the drudgery and depressing reality of the stacks. As we see Hiroshima walking in the rain, the screen fades to black and we cut in on a scene happening in a den of ill repute, one of the many drug dens that litter Icarus One. Many folks come here to forget or come here to remember, but in the end the effect is the same. Their personal battles being fought in the confines of their mind. In such a place, we find a woman, her name Yin. Let us see what she has to say about herself. Go ahead.
Arms heavy, eyes half-lidded. Ian lays with her head back on the couch, looking up at the ceiling, just thinking about all that's been going on. She more or less awakens out of a haze. What time is it? Where am I? Smells familiar. Smells like home. Well, almost home. Right then. Everything's heavy. Ugh, who's on me now? Ugh. This guy's asleep, and Ian jostles man off of her. His clothes scattered on the floor. Not really sure where my life went wrong. Or where it went right, I guess. And now I'm here. Weak in the arms. Lungs and head heavy. Full of drugs. At least here, I feel no pain. No suffering. No worry. I just exist. These thoughts, I always feel my hazy head. These fantasies of patricide. Any fantasize about huge tits and fat dicks, but oh, I fantasize about him. All a child ever wants is a father's love. Children crave it and go to extremes to get it. I'm no different. I will admit, I'm like a child when it comes to that love. Never being enough for your father really messes with a person, no? And now my imagination wanders to thoughts of my blade on his neck, his lifeblood flowing down, dripping down his front and onto the ground, staring into his working eye with my own, savoring. His life slowly slips away. It is how I will repay him, how I will show my compassion and my love for him. With every drop, another memory of a beating will flow. I remember them all, yes, very well. It's how he expressed his love for me, and I will show him my ultimate appreciation by taking his life. I jostle a movement. What disturbs me from my fantasies? What's this man's name? Ugh, doesn't matter. Just a convenient piece of meat to satiate my carnal desires. My vices, they are plentiful, yes, but my dedication to my employers, they go to a corporation, remains true. After all, it is they who supply me with these mind-numbing chemicals. I operate effectively under them, but many of my normal impulses are dulled. It's not so bad. My brother would not be pleased. Oh, if he only saw me now. Finally. I know I am better than him. I know. This place I am now. Much different to my birthplace. Here I feel myself. There I felt underappreciated for being born with a pair of tits. Maybe if I was the younger sibling, it would have been fine. Or at least, most definition, fine. But no need to dwell on it now. I kill my own buzz. Time ticks on. And Yin rises from the sofa, getting redressed and putting on her vaporizer. She takes a deep breath. She pulls out her phone to see if there's any messages.
As these two broken individuals pass the night, reliving their old memories, their old pains, horrors. Little do they know that they're going to embark on a journey that's going to take them places, make them do things that they would have never imagined. And maybe somewhere in there is a drop of solace that they can find, make existing in this wretch of a place that is Icarus One a little more bearable. As Yin is looking at her phone, it suddenly starts ringing.
Who is this? Yin picks up her phone. Hello?
Oh.
Yes.
Hello,
Who is this?
is this Yin I'm speaking to?
You have her on the line. How may I help you?
Excellent. I am Mr. Sachs' personal secretary. I have been instructed to reach out to you. Mr. Sachs would like to meet you in person.
Oh, would he now? And where would this Mr. Sachs like to meet me?
I think I understand. You do not know Mr. Sachs personally, but in the past few months, you have pulled quite a few jobs. All were under his patronage. You might not have known that you were working for Mr. Sachs on those jobs. That's how he would like it. He always likes to test the new talent on the market. You have comported yourself and achieved all your tasks with extreme accuracy, Yin. The question now is, would you like to take it to the next level?
It depends what the next level is and what the pay is.
The next level is working directly with Mr. Sachs. No more middlemen, no more shitty drop-offs, no more trash collection. You're working on high-profile missions. The pay in the thousands to start with, and it keeps going up after that.
Consider me highly interested. Where is this location I will be meeting?
Excellent. Mr. Sachs would like you to meet him in his office. It is a jazz club down by the riverfront. It's called Sax and Trombone. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Well, if my file indicates correctly, you should be at the drug den right now. It is unclear to me if you are under the influence or not. So you tell me what would be a good time to meet once your head is a little more clearer.
Well, if I leave now, by the time I get there, I will be acceptable.
Excellent, Miss Ian. I look forward to meeting you and introducing you to Mr. Sachs.
I look forward to it too.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And puts the phone down. As Yin sits there and smiles to herself, the scene fades out and we are back on a street somewhere in Icarus 1. Nero, you hear your compad ringing as well. Do you pick up?
And Nero, he kind of hears the ringing in his ear and goes ahead and connects to it. And as he connects to it, he uses basically a neurological interface to activate what's essentially a VPN network shroud in his jacket so that he knows his call is secure.
Am I speaking to a one Niroshima?
You are. You can call me Nero, though. No need to be formal. Who is this?
Excellent. My name is unimportant. Who I represent is what is important. I am calling on behalf of Mr. Sachs. Have you heard the name?
Sachs. The old guy who runs the jazz club.
Indeed, yes. You are well informed, Mr. Nero. Our references were accurate.
Well, I might know a thing or two. What do you want?
Excellent. In the past few months, you have worked on multiple jobs, some of them with the Kraminsky brothers, if I'm not mistaken.
Fucking amateurs.
Yes, that was the point. We would like to see our talent, which we have an eye on, rise above the amateurs, and you certainly prove yourself, Mr. Nero. Those jobs were actually set up by Mr. Sachs himself. He wanted to make sure that you are who you say you are, and your talents are what they're supposed to be.
Just get to the point. What do you want?
A man of few words. I'm sorry. The point is this, Mr. Nero. Mr. Sachs would like to meet you in person. He would like to take this, let's say, the relationship to the next level. Work with you directly. You have made an impression upon him.
What does he need to meet me for? He could send a message. He could just let me know that he has a job and he wants me to do it, and I'll do it.
Mr. Sachs is kind of old-fashioned that way. He likes to meet all his prospective employees face to face. Make that human connection which our times seem to miss, don't you think?
Human connection. That's hilarious. Anyways, where does he want me to meet him? I'm assuming his club.
Yes, at the jazz club, Sax and Trombone by the riverfront. Would you be able to make it tonight?
Well, let me check my schedule. Yes, I can make it tonight.
Excellent, Mr. Nero. We will see you shortly.
Sure. I'll be right there.
Nice. So with that, the line cuts. And Nero standing in the rain. Any thoughts?
So Nero, he's gonna go ahead and make his way to one of the public transport connection areas and get one of the, the basically drone type vehicles, unmanned cab, if you will, and go ahead and put in his destination. It's all, verbal now, so he just tells the vehicle where he wants to go, and the vehicle starts heading that way.
Excellent. As Nero makes his way to the sax and trombone, we cut over to Yin, who's about to leave the drug den. Yin, any last final thoughts as you make your way towards the sax and trombone?
Yin makes sure she's all fully dressed, takes a couple times to check over, slaps herself a few times in the face to kind of clear her head of the complete haze that she's under. She looks over kind of the litter of both clothes and a couple other bodies on the floor, pokes a few with her feet. Again, this always happens. And she'll make sure to put on a jacket with a hood before heading out into the rain. It's a bit of a ways for her, but she decides to take a cab part of the way and make sure that she gets dropped off about 3 blocks before arriving in order to arrive on foot the rest of the way.
Excellent. I want both of you to roll me 1d2. So Yin, as you arrive on foot, you see at the same time entering the same building as you are, this gentleman who's dressed in street clothes, and Nero, I will let you describe how you look. And Nero, you see this lady walking towards the same club, and almost at the same time you both reach for the door, try to open it and get in. So how does this look?
So Nero walks up to the door. He's wearing his cyber coat that helps also function as kind of a, if you will, a hotspot. It also has a VPN protector for his messages and calls so that he's always protected. And he's wearing, of course, just a dirty gray t-shirt, pair of jeans, and some boots. He's got a black watch on his left wrist. It's not that he needs a watch, he just likes the old-fashioned style of it. And he walks in reaching for the front door. And as he reaches for the front door, he notices the woman also walking up the steps, reaching for the door.
And Yin is wearing a black hoodie. It's fairly loose fitting on her. She's wearing some secure clothing, so it has the appearance of just regular streetwear. It is also black. There is strapping kind of within the outfit itself, crisscrossing across her chest, kind of giving it that it is very tight against her body, almost giving it more of a bondagey-esque feel to it. And she wears what looks like a kind of vaporizer on her face there. It's secure, it's even visible under the hood, as it has a few lights lighting up the side. She looks over at the gentleman she almost touches hands with, reaching for the door, and her eyes kind of smile at him. Hold the door for lady.
Yeah, sure. I'll hold the door for the lady. And he opens the door and walks in and just leaves her standing out there.
She'll raise an eyebrow before grabbing the door after him and following him inside, keeping her eyes peeled both on him and the surrounding area, seeing who's in the club and making note, especially of any exits.
Hiroshima walks straight to the bar. He walks up there like he's been there before. He just looks the bartender in the eye, catches his attention, puts his finger down to the bar a couple of times, and he just, over the noise, mouths whiskey as he's tapping the bar.
The bartender looks to you from the side, from the corner of his eye, and he makes a hand gesture. You know immediately that he has seen your request and heard your request. You can see him go and reach up. You can clearly see he's reaching up for the top shelf. Brings down a crystal bottle with a liquid that is golden brown. He pulls it down, takes out a glass, a small little tumbler, but made out of pure crystal, you can see. Shines and gleams in the light. He pours a dram, comes over to you, hands it over, doesn't say a word, doesn't ask for payment, walks back and starts attending to the other customers there.
Nero grabs the crystal glass and gives it a tap on the bar as he just shoots the whiskey back. Doesn't bother looking at it, smelling at it. He doesn't care. He shoots it back, smacks it back down on the table, spins around, both elbows back on the bar, leaning against it, one foot up on the footrest, the other foot on the ground, and starts looking around the room.
You've had whiskey before, specifically from the bottle that you have a special connection with your sensei. You like that whiskey. Has brought you solace many a night as you think about life and what has happened before. But this liquid is different. While that one, which you have in your back in your room, used to burn a little, this one is smooth. You have felt velvet through your fingers. You now feel velvet on your innards. There's a fading warmth that's receding from your larynx as the alcohol hits your stomach. You can feel it work its magic. You realize that is some good shit that you just had. The room is extremely well decorated. Ostentatious perhaps, but it has a certain charm to it. A gold motif everywhere. Lots of artwork on the walls, spaceships, fractal designs. There are a few customers, not many, which is interesting. They're just minding their own business. It looks like a band is getting ready to play. Ian, what are you doing at this time?
Yin is scoping out the room, mentally kind of making note of whoever's in the area, the band playing, exits, entrances, that kind of thing, just to keep aware of any escape routes she can take.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry.
So there's one entrance through which you came. There seem to be two exits, one behind right here that seems to be going into some sort of an ante-room. You're not clear, you can't see quite where it leads to. There's one more exit over here, and from the way people are moving in and out, it looks like it leads into the kitchen. The restrooms are kind of back here. You can see based on the people who are again with traffic. As you are paying attention to your surroundings, a gentleman steps out from that anteroom. There's immediate recognition on his face as he looks at you, and then he turns and looks at Mr. Neuroshima. He walks up and he says, "Nero, I presume."
Yeah, you must be Sax.
Ah, if only. No, I'm his humble assistant. I'm here to show you the way to his office. Give me a moment while I go fetch the lady over there. And he makes his way to you, Yin, and he says, "Miss, I'm assuming you are Yin?"
You're assuming correctly. And you are?
Excellent. I am Mr. Sax's personal assistant. I will show you to him right now. If you will follow me, please.
Happily.
And he starts making his way. As he goes past, he looks at you, Nero, and he kind of nods and bows his head to indicating you to follow him.
So Nero will go ahead and push himself up off the bar, push himself away with the one foot that was leaning against the footrest, and start walking towards him. And he notices Yin also walking, and he looks over at her. Well, if I had known you were also going to be visiting, I might have been a little nicer to you out there. Next time, speak up.
I prefer you treat me how you treat me, instead of, acting because you know who I am.
Well, you don't have to worry about that, lady. I'm not going to act with you. I'll treat you exactly how I'm going to treat you and everyone else.
Good. Yin is the name.
I get called Neuroshima, but that's when I'm working. You can call me Nero. No need for formalities.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see your skill set.
Yeah, well, I type. That's what I do. That's my skill. I type. Let's go ahead and see what the man wants.
Okay. After you.
And Neuroshima goes ahead and follows directly behind him.
Okay. Go ahead, Mati.
And Yin will kind of keep on their 6. Still keeping eyes wide, looking around. It's quiet on the outside, but her vaporizer kind of goes off, letting her inhale the drug concoction that she has in there. Her eyes dilate slightly as she follows, and her head kind of darts around a little bit faster, becoming, in her eyes, more aware of what's going on.
Nice. So the assistant leads you into Mr. Saxena's office, and he points you to take a seat at the table right in the center of the room. You're free to move your tokens as you wish and take a seat where you wish along the table. He says, "Mr. Sax will be here momentarily. Please make yourself comfortable." Here in the corner, standing by the wall, there looks to be what looks like a bodyguard just standing there and staring at both of you. He's definitely eyeballing both of you, but doesn't make a move, doesn't say anything. He's just standing there in a relaxed position, but you clearly make out that he's a bodyguard.
And Yin takes a seat at the edge of the table there, removing her hood and then letting it fall back, though it was slightly damp. She extends her arms and puts them up along the back of the chair, feeling the seat with her hands, trying to determine at least the make, what material it was. becoming a little bit too interested in it.
It reminds you of a certain place at a certain time in your past when opulence was all around you. Leather seats like this were common, very plush, very smooth, supple, flexible. Sitting in one of these chairs instantly made you comfortable, and you had this a plush feeling all around you.
Yin will lean her head back slightly, again looking at the ceiling. And take a deep breath while waiting for Mr. Sachs. Her finger will swirl around the material there, just kind of enjoying the feeling that she's getting.
The assistant hovers around for a minute and he says, "Before I leave, would you like anything to drink? I can prepare it for you at the bar." And he looks at both of you.
Water. I do not do alcohol.
As you wish. And Mr. Nero, for yourself?
I think he's in the bathroom.
Ah. Well, I guess I saw him take a whiskey downstairs. I shall bring him the same. And he kind of makes his way back to the bar. And you can see himself making himself busy preparing the whiskey for Nero and the water for Yin.
And Yin will lean forward again, kind of snapping out of her haze, and put her elbows on her knees, clasp her hands and put them under her chin, and just look over at Nero, staring.
Nero's just sitting there and he's looking around the room. He sees someone standing in the corner who obviously looks like they know how to handle themselves, and then he sees the little guy that led us back here, and he's just kind of taking it all in, wondering what's next.
And as you guys are sitting and thinking what's next, the assistant comes back, places again a crystal glass with whiskey in it for Nero, and a tall glass of cool water for Yin. Just as he's about to turn around and leave, a gentleman walks into the room. It looks like both of you have arrived on time. He turns to the assistant, nods, and he says, "Thank you. That'll be all for now." And the assistant makes his way back. He kind of comes forward. As you guys might have guessed, my name is Mr. Sachs, or Ravi Saxena, officially. But I think for our relationship, we can keep it as Mr. Sachs. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Nero and Yin. And he nods to both of you.
And Yin will give a small wave, taking her hands off her chin and sitting up properly. Thank you for allowing us to meet you here.
You don't have to be thankful, Miss Yin. I believe you have showed yourself to be more than capable for this invite. I'm always on the lookout for excellent talent, and I feel I have that excellent talent around me right now.
Well, flattery will get you everywhere.
So Nero has his right leg crossed over his left thigh, shaking his boot. He had his left arm over the back of the high-backed bench seating that they're in. And he takes a sip of the whiskey and sets it down on the table and kind of pushes it away from him just slightly. Then he looks at Mr. Sachs and says, I'm kind of tickled by your sense of tradition here and wanting to meet like this, but you know how to get a hold of me. There was no need for this.
Ah, I understand your irritation with this arrangement, Mr. Nero. I absolutely understand. I believe people with your skill set prefer their privacy and their time on their lonesome to figure out the solutions and bring me the fruit of those solutions. I understand that. But it is important you understand this. When you get into business with me, there is no turning back. And I wanted to be there in person when you decided, and I wanted to look into your eyes when you decided to work with me. And that can only be done in person, Mr. Nero. Technological advances nowadays remove the human connection. And to me, that is important. If I'm working with you, I need to know that you are someone I can trust. And again, that can only be achieved in person.
Well, as old-fashioned as it sounds, that's all fine and good. You can trust me. I'll get the job done.
Good. And I want to thank both of you, Miss Yin and Nero, to think about this very carefully after I've laid out what the job is. You are welcome to step away from it. And you might be thinking to yourself, why would he allow that? Why would he allow some unknowns to step away if they don't not like the job, when they know clearly what the job is? Well, that's because I clearly know who knows about this job and who doesn't. If word were to leak out, I would know where it would come from. And if I find that it is one of you who has double-crossed me, it is important you know this. Do not do such an act. It leads to only a place of pain. Pain, I believe both of you have felt, but not at the magnitude I'm talking about. It's not a threat, it's a promise. You don't double-cross me, and I won't double-cross you. And again, Mr. Nero, this is best said in person. Somehow, electronic letters on a screen just does not convey the message. If you want, both of you can at this point roll a wisdom notice. So if you click on your token, there is the button skills. Nice. Yin, you immediately notice the body language, the demeanor that Mr. Sachs is projecting. You have been around powerful men enough to know that this is someone that you do not trifle with. He will work with you, just like your current employers, but he has very little margin for bullshit. Nero, you on the other hand, you are still a little irritated by the fact that you have been asked here in person, and this man seems to be kind of droning on, not getting to the point.
And so with that, Nero finishes his whiskey, pushes the glass away even further this time, takes his leg down from off of his thigh, puts both boots on the ground, and he just looks right at him. Well, okay, Mr. Sachs, get on with it then. What do you need us for?
And Yin will be looking at Mr. Sachs, and it's been a while since she's kind of felt this presence. A bit of a shiver goes up her spine, and she sits up as straight as she can. Well, you don't have to worry about me. I won't say shit.
Mr. Sachs takes a moment to look at both of you and he says, "Very well then, to business. The reason I picked the both of you is that you have a unique set of skills. In a few hours, there's a transaction going down that I have facilitated. There is a box that is going to be transferred over, handed over to my men here in this room, by a party I know and I trust. But one can never say with these transactions what goes through people's minds, as people are always looking for advantages and the ability to screw one another over. What I need you both to do is provide overwatch. Nero, you know your way around computers, electronic networks, surveillance systems. Yin, I believe from reading your file, you are an expert marksman. I will provide you both with equipment that you can use. You will head out with my men in this room, and he points to his assistant and the bodyguard at the back. They will show you where the drop is happening. You will have some time to look at the location, pick up vantage points, and so on and so forth. Just keep an eye on the drop. My men will do all the work. Once it's done, there are no surprises and no stupid people trying to get in my way. My men will pick you up from a set location and bring you back here. Simple.
Yeah, you say simple, but nothing is ever simple.
That's why I have you, Mr. Nero, to make the unsimple things simplified, so that I do not have to worry about them.
Well, Mr. Sachs, before we head out, I am glad I can apparently keep at least some secrets. As your information about me being a marksman is slightly incorrect. I am more of a up-close and personal kind of person.
Ah, interesting. Well, clearly my files have been incorrect. That doesn't happen very often. And I guess you wouldn't need my equipment then. Do you have your stuff to carry with you?
Of course.
Excellent. Nero, and he kind of turns to you and he snaps his fingers. The bodyguard from the back comes over and hands him a small little case, like an attaché case, and then he kind of steps back again. Mr. Sachs takes the case and pushes it towards you. In it you'll find a data slab, some line shunts, and any necessary tools you would require to provide surveillance at the exchange point.
And Nero kind of looks through the case and picks through it, and he, doesn't look impressed, and he just kind of closes the case. Yeah, this'll do. And he picks it up and puts it under his arm.
Excellent. I believe that concludes our business. Do you have any more questions for me?
Yeah. Pay. How much and when?
And he gives you a smile. Just as I suspected, you'll be the first one to ask me. The pay is 5,000 credits each. And you'll be paid the moment I get the case back here.
Well, that sounds doable. Alright, have your guys show us where it is and we'll get to work.
Also,
And he looks towards Yin at this point.
yes, in terms of, in case things do go sideways, should we kill with impunity, or should I be gentle?
If things go sideways, and it is an entity that you do not recognize apart from the people in this room, you will kill with impunity. The consequences are immaterial. You do not have to worry about the law when you're working on business that's related to me.
Perfect. I am pleased with this arrangement.
And he gives you a nod. Which point the bodyguard steps forward and the assistant steps forward as well. The bodyguard doesn't say anything, he's very quiet. The assistant looks to Mr. Sachs, nods, and he says, Miss Yin, Mr. Nero, if you'd follow me, please.
And Yin rises from the seat and stretches, pulling her arms back and setting them at her side. Shall we?
Yeah, Nero stands up and straightens his coat, pulls it down by the hems at the bottom, stands up straight, puts the case under his arm, and follows behind Yin.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So as you guys leave the club, the assistant at this point, you can call me Manuel. Would be glad to assist in any way on this mission. And he kind of jerks a thumb towards the guard. That is Vijay. I wouldn't say much to him. He doesn't speak much. He does what is told. He won't get in your way.
Perfect. It is interesting to meet you both.
Vijay looks at you both, doesn't say anything, but he nods. You can clearly see that this man is a professional. And when you kind of look at him a little closer, you can see that he is wearing some sort of armor underneath those street clothes. He has what looks like a bulge under his coat. Yin, you would clearly make out that it's kind of like rough outlines of what looks like a submachine gun. So you guys head out of the club and hold on. Good. At the back of the club, there's a car waiting. Manuel gets in the driver's seat. The bodyguard, Vijay, takes right shotgun. The back doors are opened and you guys get in. Any thoughts, any questions to each other?
As they're getting in, Nero slides in, and he's sitting next to Yin, and everyone's getting ready to go. Vehicle is starting to move down the streets and lights are kind of just flashing by the windows. And Nero looks over to Yin. Now, I think I might understand why you asked that question about killing with impunity. You look like the type who might make things go sideways just so you can do that.
I am glad that looks deceive in this case, as I respect my job and what I do very greatly, and I do not do anything to jeopardize it. If you accuse me of such again, I will take it as a personal slight.
Very well. You just don't seem all that stable to me.
Well, might not seem stable in conversation, but on the job, trust me, my blade is stiff and it knows where to go.
I don't know you well enough to judge you, but I know enough people who wear those vaporizers. And I know that I can't always trust their judgment depending on what they have moving through them.
Hmm.
I just want to make sure that you're not gonna cause anything to go sideways on this mission. I could use that 5,000 credits, and I don't need some crazy lady causing me any harm.
Do not worry. I will do nothing to jeopardize both of us getting paid. As I said, I take everything very, very seriously.
Why are you here?
Why am I here?
Just because you can shoot?
I do not think you were paying attention earlier. I do not shoot. I like savoring my victims' deaths.
So you are a psycho.
I would not call myself a psycho, just passionate about my craft.
Have you done any jobs I might have heard of? Would she have? Is she someone that I would know? Or have at least heard of?
You do not recall the name Yin. You are welcome to do as you're driving and talking, you are adept with your data slab. You're welcome to make a check. This would be an int plus program. Okay. Nothing comes up on the net. You have tried many different things. The description of the lady, the name Yin. You even went as far back as looking for jobs that had similar MO, woman with blades and a penchant for violence. There's just too much noise. Not enough variables are defined to focus in on the search.
Yeah, well, whoever you are, lady, I have to hand it to you. You cover your tracks well. If I can't find any information on you, not many people will be able to.
I think that is a good thing, considering the line of work I'm in. But if we sit down, spend some time, maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah, well, I thought that's what we were doing. Sitting here and talking.
Outside of the job.
Lady, if this job goes well, I don't know that I ever plan on seeing you again.
Disappointing.
For you.
True.
And Nero just looks out the window and watches the city go by.
Okay. Manuel is a pretty adept driver. Pretty soon you guys find yourself in an alleyway. As all alleyways in this place, it's a shithole. When he gets there, he stops the car and he turns around. This is where I will drop you. If you turn around the corner, that is where the main street is and where we'll be doing the exchange. After the exchange is done, myself and Vijay will come here and pick you up.
Alright.
So Nero opens the door, and this time he looks back and he kind of smiles at Yin and leaves the door open this time instead of shutting it on her.
And Yin's eyes will smile there. It's really only what he can see, and she'll slide out of the vehicle, dust herself off, pull up her coat again, and keep eyes out for places that are dark and dank. Maybe she can hide.
Yeah. So, 1 minute. So, Manuel and Vijay remain in the car, and they kind of pull the car around and into the corner, and you see that in this direction. Do you see that, or am I?
I see an arrow going. Yeah.
You see an arrow?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So in that direction, there's actually a small alleyway. And when you guys go through that alleyway, you come on to what looks like the main street. And this is where, as per Manuel and Mr. Saxena, is where the exchange is going to happen. At this point, the table is open to you guys to discuss and strategize how best you can provide Overwatch for this exchange.
Jesus, they couldn't have picked a worse place to do this drop.
It's bright.
It's bright, it's crowded, there's people everywhere.
The crowd will provide good cover. If they're making the exchange here, I can at least blend in.
That's a lot of faces for me to keep track of.
It's true. How will you be keeping track?
You see that titty bar right over there?
Familiar.
I'm gonna be right in there. I'll be using my pad. I'm gonna connect to the power out here. I'm gonna use the cameras, and I'm gonna funnel all the images onto my pad. Keep an eye out on all the corners, the different alleyways, the cars coming and going, the people walking by. Security, alarms, all be transitioned through my pad. All from that titty bar right there.
Perfect. Maybe what you could do, keep Overwatch, and if you see any suspicious individuals, let me know, and I will use the crowd in the darkness to move over.
Are you fucking kidding me, lady?
What?
Look around you. They're all suspicious.
Well, I would think a man of your talents might be able to pick some people apart.
Fucking hate crowds. He mumbles to himself as he starts making his way over to the bar.
Oh. Do you not want me to follow?
I don't think we have the same jobs, do we?
We could at least work together.
Sure, be my guest. And he waits for her.
Ian takes a deep breath. Alright. And she'll follow after Nero.
Nero heads over to the bar that has the large holographic naked lady dancing on a pole out front. As she twists and turns and writhes in digital form, he walks in with the neon lights hitting his face. He turns on his VPN shield in his coat, heads into the bar, finds a dark booth in the back, and he starts immediately, remotely connecting to different security servers. All these wires out here just makes it so easy. It's not a very sophisticated area or a district. No one's expecting anyone to be doing any kind of surveillance out here. So he sits there, types away, does his magic, connects in, and brings up all the cameras down this block and the next. Then he has a dozen little images on his screen showing the different ways in and out, alleyways, roadways, cars driving by, people walking in the rain, in the dark. And he just sits there with the soft glow on his face, looking at all the information, letting it all just wash over him. This is what he does. This is his job. And he feels at home sitting right here in this booth, just focusing on his compad.
And Yin will follow Nero up to probably the entrance of the titty bar there. Just kind of let him go inside. Is it possible for us to keep in touch before you do your thing?
And Nero gives her, 3339. That's the code for my VPN network. It'll give you access into it. We can communicate that way, remotely.
Alright. And she'll hook up a comm link so it's connected to his enter 3339, was it?
Yep.
Kind of keep it on her. Let me know if you... Of course, you're going to keep a monitor on the exchange itself. If anyone is approaching too quickly, let me know. I will be out there. In the crowds. You might see me, you might not. We'll see. Or that she kind of takes leave and starts blending into the crowd, mostly keeping an eye out for where the exchange exactly is happening. To try and keep close, not too close, but keep an eye on it while still kind of milling about and like spending time with the people out there, even maybe striking up a few conversations, but mostly keeping aware.
Oh, sorry about
That's
that.
I was like, oh,
I'm like, why is no one responding to me? I had muted my mic.
it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, like because the moment this is the first time I'm like full on GMing for just you two guys, but I'm getting the sense of like how you guys are thinking, and I didn't notice that scantily clad lady at the back, so I had to quickly find an appropriate bar image for Nero to feel in the zone while he's doing his hack.
That was pretty quick work,
Yeah.
too. I was
Yeah, that's
surprised you
good.
had something ready.
Cool. So now that Nero is in his zone, has an eye on the streets, we're going to do a little game. So Yin, I want you to give me a Dex plus Sneak.
Sneak.
So if you click on the skills button on your when you click on your token, it should bring up your skill list in the chat.
For some reason,
And then you can
Sneak's
click
not.
on-
No, oh, there it is. There it is. Skills connect.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
yeah.
my plus ones. Oh, that was my untrained. Okay. Sneak. Dex.
Ooh, nice. So Matihi, you blend really well into the crowd around you. You take the time to, strike up innocuous conversation with the people around. There are some food vendors. Are you feeling hungry at this point?
At this point, no. She does not feel hungry, but she'll still get food. And she'll even kind of remove her visor there after taking a deep breath.
and eat a little bit, just to kind of blend in.
Nice. And back in the bar, Nero, I want you to tell me what you would like to roll for this. I believe a part of you would like to see how good Yin really is. Given the fact that you are now hooked into the surveillance systems on the street outside, what would you like to roll to see if you can detect Yin in that crowd?
Well, I think what I would like to do... I'm looking at the options here, because I'm not completely familiar with all the options here.
No, that's fine. Give me, like, role-play wise what you would like to do, and then I will string up the options for you.
Great. So, role-playing it then, Nero's sitting there with his compad, and he's kind of just perusing, going from one camera to the next, and then moving them all back into thumbprint type style. So there's multiple camera in a smaller space, images. And then he kind of smiles to himself as he thinks back to what she said about maybe I'll see her. Maybe I'll see her. She might be good, but she also typed in the code to my VPN. She's connected digitally to me. So I go to my compad and I type in a few keystrokes. As I type in a few keystrokes, it immediately gives me an indication of anyone else connected to my VPN so that I can easily find where she is.
Excellent. So this would be an int plus program roll, and given that role play, you would have a +2 to find her. So
then it would be 11.
11. So how does this look, Nero? You may not seem a people person, but you know people. Part of being a code cowboy is not just typing, it is social engineering as well, and you know the art of social engineering. It was in your DNA as you were a child running the streets on the stacks. You think you know Yin by now, you've been around her enough this past evening. You should be able to pick up her gait, her face. You can't find her.
He can't find her. So Nero just kind of starts swiping through screen after screen after screen, camera after camera after camera. He's getting frustrated that he can't find this woman he was just talking to. He knows what she looks like. And then it hits him. The goddamn mask. Facial recognition won't ping her because of that goddamn mask. I didn't see her without it. I didn't get an image of her without it. And he just kind of rubs the bridge of his nose and shakes his head. He waves a waitress down to come over. And he gets a drink. And he just kind of smiles. Don't worry, little lady, I'll find you.
At this point, Nero is in the bar getting his drink and a little vexed with himself for missing that little detail about Yin. Yin outside is blended perfectly with the crowd. At that point, your compad rings and you hear Manuel on the side. Am I correct in assuming that you have found your spots and are providing overwatch at this point.
Indeed.
Excellent. The meeting should happen momentarily. We are approaching the hour of the exchange. You should expect to see a red souped up car coming down the street from the north end. Vijay and myself will be coming from the south end. We will stop in the middle of the street. People in this part of town are smart enough to know what is happening and stay out of our way. But if someone is dumb enough to try and get rich quick and die trying in the process, I hope, Miss Yin, that you can help them to die a little quicker.
My pleasure.
Mr. Nero, I hope you have eyes on us. We are now coming around the corner.
And as he says that, Nero puts two fingers down on the screen and widens the camera image so that he gets a closer look at it. Yep, I see you. All systems clear.
Excellent. And they just bring the car to the center of the street. They just stop in there. They don't move. They don't get out. They're just waiting in the car. About 5 minutes passes by before down the street you guys hear, I don't even know if you can hear this, but let's try. Yep, so you can hear like a souped up car approaching Manuel and Vijay. Out of the car steps out a well-dressed gentleman. Very hard to make out his age. When he steps out of the car, both Manuel and Vijay step out of the car. You can see that in Manuel's hand there is actually a briefcase. Manuel starts moving towards the man. He starts moving forward. Yin and Nero, you both notice that in the other man's hand there's a really small case. It's not a briefcase, it's much smaller. Nero, using the ability to see through the surveillance cameras, give me a notice plus int.
So Nero focuses the camera on this man who just got out of the vehicle and zooms in. Oof.
Oof.
And there's some static and the camera just kind of fritzes a little bit and you can't get a clear image of what's going on.
You see that the man's walking towards Manuel. The gait is relaxed. Yin, you see this too. Nero, you know that whatever he has in his hand, there is something very odd about it. You can't put your finger on it. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you think you know what it is. You just can't, for the life of you, recollect. You don't know if it's the ambience of the club, or the fact that you couldn't find Yin before this. It is something very important. You can feel it. Like, this is no ordinary exchange.
Nero would like to. His sixth sense is kicking in, and he doesn't know what's going on, but he's getting a feeling that something might be happening, something bigger than just a standard exchange. So he wants to kind of do an assessment of the grid, the local grid that he's in right now, and see if there's anyone else on the surveillance cameras, if there's any other spines, circulating throughout, the grid here. basically he wants to see if he's alone in this system that he's using.
Go ahead. Let me think about this. No, it should be simple enough for somebody with your talents. So you do that. Out on the grid is noisy as, but by now you are very used to that noise. It's almost like background noise to you. You're able to immediately clear out all that noise. You see at this point that there are 3 spikes of peculiar traffic. One spike you can clearly see is your own footprint. And you realize that the other 2 spikes are very similar to look at, which would basically mean that somebody is tapped into the same surveillance network as you are. Now, one of those spikes seems to be much further away from here. So you don't know if somebody is doing a way more remote hack than you are currently. The other spike seems to be coming from that individual on the street. I want you to give me a what would this be? This would be a no plus int. In the meantime, Yin, I want you to give me a notice plus int.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Ugh.
notice. Ooh. Nero, it was, sorry, no, did I say notice? No plus
Oh
int.
no.
No.
Listen. Okay, I can do that.
For Nero.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Perfect. Yin, so far everything seems to be out of the ordinary to you. From what you see, the body language of the bodyguard, Manuel, and the man approaching seem normal. There's no indicators that kind of make it stand out. Nero, you know that the unrecognized spike is coming from the car. You realize that there's somebody else in the car that seems to be doing the same thing you are doing. It's unclear to you if that person is just recording for the same reason you are recording, or at this point.
So Nero gets on comms immediately. Ian, keep an eye out. There's someone on surveillance. They're on the same grid. They're coming from that vehicle over there that guy just got out of. The red car. I'm not sure what they're doing. Maybe they're just watching like we are. But in any case, they're watching.
I will keep an eye out, see if there is any movement regarding them. How close is Yin to the car itself?
Where would you? Well, I didn't ask you where you were, but where would you be at this point in, like, based on your training and your capabilities? Where would you put yourself on this map?
She'd where's like a decent, not a super big cluster, but a decent sized kind of cluster of people, like near the actual exchange itself. Like with
So that would be kind of I'm using the wrong sorry, that would be kind of here in this area. That there's a big cluster of people that seem to be getting like some street food, and this amount of noise around you would kind of mask your presence. Like, you know, people would be attracted to the people making the noise and not be looking at you.
Is she within like if something were to go down like running distance, like fairly close to getting to the car? Okay.
Yes. I would say it is like if something were to go down, you could get to the car immediately.
Okay.
You are close enough that you could do that, but far enough to be unobtrusive.
Perfect. So, like, she'll kind of keep occasionally removing the mask, picking up food, but keeping both an eye on the people around her and engaging with them to look active, and also an eye on the exchange and that car there.
Nice. At this point, both of you see that the man with the smaller briefcase hands it over to Manuel. Manuel hands over his briefcase to the man. The man doesn't turn around. He just starts walking backwards, keeping his eye always on Manuel and Mr. Sachs's guards. He keeps his eyes on them, gets in the car, and the car hangs a U-turn and then leaves.
And Nero watches it on camera as it hits each camera going down the street until it's off screen and he can't follow it anymore.
Yep. It goes off screen, and the moment it goes off screen, that one spike that you saw that was more local to you dissipates. It's gone.
Hey, how does everything look down there?
Everything looks fine from what I see. Lots of people, good cover. But looks like the exchange went well.
Yeah, the vehicle's gone. They're not on screen, they're out of the district. I'm not getting any tracks, any data tracks from them anymore. They're not around. I think our guys are okay.
Keep an eye out still. Sometimes people decide to strike. Are you able to maybe... Are you only have eyes on street level, or can you maybe see above?
Well, there are a couple of cameras that go a little higher.
See if anyone maybe is up there looking down, just in case.
So I would like to try and search the local grid area and see if there is any higher, maybe this would be difficult, maybe a security camera that's positioned on a tower or something like that. That would give me a bird's eye view.
There is one. It is unfortunately kind of all the way up here.
Yeah.
You can see from there, when you log into that camera, you can see the rooftops of these buildings that's surrounding you. The rooftops seem clear-ish, right? I mean, what I mean to say by clear-ish is there's no humanoid forms on there. But there's a lot of junk because it's a rooftop, right? And these are kind of, this is not the stacks exactly, but it's not the best part of town.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot make out any humanoid forms on the rooftops.
Listen, Yin, I'm looking around. I don't see much of anything, but that doesn't mean anything either. I'm not down there on the ground. All I can do is look through with the cameras. The cameras don't show anything, so take what you will from that.
Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Both Manuel and Saxena get in the car, and they hang a U as well, and then the car disappears off the screen. Couple of seconds later, you get a call on your compad, both of you. It's kind of like a conference call. Well, that went swimmingly smooth, wouldn't you say?
Seems like it.
Yeah, I guess it did.
Time for a pickup.
Alright.
We are around the corner in the alleyway.
And Yin
Please hurry.
Yin'll actually walk back to the titty bar to wait for Nero there.
Okay.
Nero will turn his comm pad off, and then he'll slap shut the panel on the screen he was using. He'll slide it back into his coat. He'll push up off the table, stand up, finish his drink, put it on the table, and he'll start walking through the club, walking out to meet Yin.
Good work.
Yeah, looks like it's all fun and games in here, but I was working, and besides, good job on hiding from me.
Oh, you were looking for me?
And Yin kind of talks as she walks, leading them out to the car.
And he continues talking to her as they're walking out. Yeah, of course I was looking for you. That's the job, right? Eyes on everyone.
It's true. You had the issue? Finding me, I mean.
Yeah, yes, issues finding you. Yeah, well, it's because of your stupid mask.
I feel like it might be easier to pick out the mask in a crowd.
Yeah, might have been easier to pick out the mask in a crowd, but you took your mask off.
Oh, did I? At what point?
Listen, lady, I don't like your games. It doesn't matter, though. We did the job. We got paid, or at least we're going to get paid. So let's just focus on that right now. Then we can go our own ways. You can wear your mask and you can vape your drugs. You can murder whoever it is that you're out to murder. I don't care. I'll go my way. You go your way. Everyone's happy.
Not looking to do any more jobs for Mr. Sachs.
Just because I do jobs for Mr. Sachs doesn't mean I have to do jobs with you.
True. True. But personally, it'd be fun to play this game again, no?
Yeah, lady. Loads of fun. And he steps out into the street waiting for the car to pick them up.
And Yin pulls up her hood, make sure her hood's secure. Just waiting for the car.
Is he on mute again?
Yes, I was on mute. Oh man, yeah. Sorry, I was just enjoying the music too much. Yes, so you guys leave the club. As you guys leave the club, a couple of ladies, do make eyes at both Yin and Nero as they leave the club. Clearly, they think that you both are players and have a lot of credits on you to spend on them tonight. But anyway, business is business. Work comes first. You guys leave the club, make your way across the street, and towards the pickup point. You get to the pickup point, and there's, the car, Manuel and Vijay, the guard, are right there. Yin, as you get closer to the car, give me a wisdom plus notice, please.
Should have taken more notice.
All right. Yin, you get the sense that you're being watched.
Yin will stop Actually, no, she's gonna continue walking. She's not gonna stop at all, but she is going to go up next to Nero and
Okay.
kind of.
So you guys are free to move your tokens. So move it where you would like to be. The car is there. There is.
Move to opposite directions.
Just away. Get back here.
Yeah. Like we're walking up to the car.
All right.
So Yin is actually
Excellent.
gonna grab just gently kind of put her arm through Nero's and bring her face kind of closer to his.
There's someone watching us. Act normal. I don't know where they are yet. But they're here.
And he just kind of looks at her. Just oblivious to everything she just said. And he just looks right at her and he has a confused look on his face. He's all, yeah, those two, they're watching us as we walk up to the car.
No.
What are you talking
Someone
about?
is watching the four of us. Is someone else alien to the four of us here? I don't know where they are. But they're here.
Just keep walking. Walk by the car. Just walk by. Keep your arm in my arm. God damn it. And Nero's heart starts beating. He's been on the receiving end of almost getting caught before. He doesn't want to get caught again.
It's fine.
So you guys start walking down the street. You can see Manuel and the Vijaya waiting near the car. Just as you guys pass that trash dumpster, Yin, from the corner of your eye, you notice someone step out. The person looks very rough, very street. On their neck, you can see there's a tattoo that looks almost like a brass knuckle pointed up towards the chin. And as you're kind of like paying attention to that guy, from the shadows here, one more person that looks very similar, with a very similar tattoo, also steps out. At this point, you notice that even Vijay, the bodyguard, steps out of the car and starts kind of standing, like, his back is towards the car, kind of becoming a shield between this person and the car. You can clearly see he's taking defensive stance over there.
Yeah, and it immediately, as soon as the guy steps out of the shadow, with Nero already tensed up and kind of on edge because Yin said we were being watched, as soon as he steps out, Nero instinctively just spins towards him and pushes him against the trash can. Tries to grab him and push him against the trash can.
Okay. This would, you're not trying to punch him, you're more like trying to push him, correct?
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna grab him by his shirt, his collar, and push him against the trash can with my forearm against his chest to try and get, figure out who he is.
Okay, cool. So go ahead, give me an exert plus strength for this, since you're not trying to like punch the person outright, but more like shove them away from you. So you do that, and this person kind of, hits against the trash can and kind of falls to one knee. At that point, this person steps out and pulls out a pistol, and we shall enter initiative. Just before that, he says, "Hand over the box, please. I believe you have something of importance." And this guy who steps out, he's clearly pointing the gun downwards at the car and at the bodyguard. Um,
Oh.
Actually, yeah. No, let's. Yeah, perfect. Yes. Nice. Right.
Hmm.
Ha. We've been waiting for this, haven't we? Here we go. So, this knuckle dragger looks up at Nero and he has a smile on his face. Like, that was a mistake. You could have just walked away with your life. And he proceeds to punch Nero to push him away. This would be a punch skill. One minute. Nero, can you give me a dex plus, what's the thing? I would say dex plus notice. Trying to see the punch coming in and then stepping out of the way in time if possible.
Oof.
Ooh. So this guy lands his punch and 1v2. So he, he gets up off the ground and you feel that you have the upper hand, but he gets up way too quickly than you anticipated, and he chooses to give you an uppercut. At this point, you have a choice. Would you like to take the hit or jump away from him that you are no longer in melee range?
I'll take the hit.
Okay. So you instantly go down at this point with that hit. With a hit of 2.
Oh, there's no saves or anything?
That's what the save was, the notice plus dex.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Because the way I'm going with it is that he chooses to punch you, and I'm kind of giving you an ability to step out of the way with your notice in time with dex.
Oh, okay.
Rather than taking just the straight punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. Well, understanding that now, can I choose to step out of the way?
Sure, yeah, you can step out of the way. So you are no longer in melee range with him at this point, and you can see that he's pulling out his gun. Next up is Yin.
Well, this is not opportune for her, as she's out in the open. Damn it. And so she'll withdraw her blade. I'm unsure up to if she's able to kind of hide at least, or not make it super obvious that she had a mono blade with her. But I also have a tiny one too, so it's fine.
I think it's fine. What are you trying to do RP-wise? So then I can figure out how I can give you that advantage or anything of that sort.
Well, she's kind of out in the middle of the street. Just thinking of sneaking around and hitting one of the other guys from behind, like maybe.
Like this?
Yeah, like he's very absorbed in kind of what's going on with the car, right?
Yes. Let me think.
I don't know if it's possible for her to maybe sneak around the dumpster and then throw her small blade at him.
So let's do this. Give me an exert plus dex. So this is one way you can go about it, is where you are running at top speed towards him, right? Even before he has a chance to react, and potentially throw your monoblade and then kind of duck and roll away from him.
Okay.
I'm being a little loose with the rules to allow you that buffer, so that you guys don't get taken down very quickly, but give you at the same time different tactical options.
All right. Yeah, she'll try that.
Okay. If it doesn't work, then you can still attack, but you won't get any bonus.
Okay. Well, she'll have her because she can throw her smaller blade, so she'll have that out.
Okay. So exert plus dex. You can do, yes, you do that. So go ahead and make an attack with your going with the small advanced weapon or the monoblade.
It's gonna be the small advanced weapon, and actually, this is why I did it. As an assassin, I can draw or produce this object, being the hidden object, the small blade. It's an on-turn action, and at your point-blank range attack made from surprise, it can't miss.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. So then go ahead and click on your weapons and make the roll, and we'll take the damage.
Okay, hopefully it's alright. Small advance, modifier none.
Ooh. So
Damn, though.
how does that look?
So Yin kind of darts out from behind Nero.
Hold on. How does this look when you kill this man?
Oh, okay. So what happens is, Nero or Yin kind of ducks, pulling her arm away from Nero and using the same arm to reach into her hoodie there, producing a small blade. She kind of crouches and pretty much runs at top speed towards the gentleman, pointing the gun at the guard there. She takes aim and flicks the knife from below at him, and it spins, hitting the man in the forehead, and just
Nice.
watching as the blood kind of drips down his face. She actually fully completes the charge and actually hops
Okay.
on top and, if possible, pulls out the blade.
Oh yes,
Yep.
you do. That was a
So
fantastic
yeah, she
attack.
actually will jump on him, and as she pulls out the blade, kind of skids along the ground and spins around.
Nice. So you are somewhere over here at this
Yeah.
point. Yep. So this guy is taken out. How come? Nero, you're up. What would you like to do at this point? You are out of melee range from this guy.
And now that I'm out of melee range, I jumped back after he tried punching me, and as I jump back, I reach, into my coat and tucked into the back of my pants, just kind of thrown back there. I pull out my auto pistol and I swing it around and fire at him.
Go for it. So as the shot goes wide, what does it look? How does it look as you miss the shot on this person?
So I was jumping backwards when I grabbed it and swung it around, and whether it's adrenaline or just because of the motion and the movement, I shot early and I hit the trash can behind him, and a row of bullets kind of make a little impact in the trash can behind him, and he kind of startles and looks at it, and then he looks right back at me.
Nice. Okay. As usual, Mr. Roll20 AM seems to have messed us with us, so... Yep, so that happened.
The quiet. Ooh.
So at that point, the shot goes wide, and next up, Vijay, he pulls out his submachine gun and starts shooting at this person you are in combat with, Nero. Weapons. Good. And he completely misses as well. Wide over, like over this area along the wall. Now it's this guy's turn. He looks at you and Nero and at the guard, and realizing that the guard has a submachine gun, he doesn't take any chances. He turns his weapon on the guard and fires. I think this. Ooh. So, given the close proximity of the fight, this what clearly looks like a gang member realizes that if he's not quick and accurate enough, he's gonna die here. Nero, you see him reach out from his jacket and pull out what looks like a compact, and he says something into it while he, trains his gun on Vijay the guard and shoots him right through the forehead. Single shot between the bridge of the nose. That was exactly the HP Vijay had. And at this point, both you and Yin can hear from the distance, there's this sound of an engine that's coming at full speed. Before you know it, upon you, what looks like a delivery van. And from the delivery van, there is a hail of fire. It is spread all over. Yin, give me a notice plus int. You are not sure who they're shooting at, but they seem to be shooting at everything and everybody on the street. You see that this gentleman who was fighting with you guys jumps out of the way. Yin, Nero, give me a save. This would be a physical save.
We're great.
Yes.
Awesome. Yin, you get hit on the side of your torso. You're taking up a couple of bullets at this point. You basically go down to the ground. Nero, you get hit as well. Again, you go to the ground down as well. They pepper the car with bullets. The car starts smoking and flaming. Out of the car jumps Manuel, and he starts running away. Let me see if Manuel makes save. Nope. Manuel is unlucky as well, as a hail of gunfire takes him down, and he's like, you guys both see him as you fall to the ground. He's just basically flat, like his face in a puddle, bullets riddled. The truck comes to a stop. Two of these guys jump out, rummage through the car. Yin, from the corner of your eye, you can see that they've taken the case. Go ahead Yin, at this point, what do you think your character would do?
So, darn.
You are outnumbered, you are hit.
What she's gonna do is it an unmarked vehicle, or does it have like some sort of license plate, or anything like that?
There seems to be some sort of industrial logo on it. The logo kind of looks like this on it.
Okay.
Looks like almost like an umbrella with a dash to it.
Is there any of my memory banks? Is there anything that I can remember that maybe looks like this?
Nothing comes to your mind right now.
And they have very distinct tattoos, yeah?
Yep, very
Okay.
distinct tattoos. It's clearly a knuckle, brass knuckle pointed up towards the chin.
I'm guessing nothing on that either. She is going to... She wants to complete the job, but honestly, she doesn't want to die trying. She is going to keep an eye on them, but fall down and kind of... Well, she's already down, but she'll just lay there,
Perfect.
basically.
All right. Cool. You see that, and Nero, you see that they're coming towards you with the case. They give a look towards Yin, and to both of you, it looks like they think Yin is dead. One of them doesn't say anything. He kind of lifts two fingers to the other guys in the truck, and he points down at Nero. Next thing you know, Nero is being hefted up, put on one of the guy's shoulder. They take Nero, the case, they get in the truck, and they all disappear.
What the fuck?
Oh no.
Thanks, Yin.
What am I supposed to do? Save you?
So Yin, as you are lying in there, you are clearly hurt. You are bleeding, and at this point it's unclear if you do not get help immediately, you might just die here like a sewer rat. I will leave you this time to contemplate what your next move is going to be. I hope it's the right one. While I move the action here, Nero, you see that you're kind of in and out of a daze. The truck is moving pretty fast. You're getting bounced around. Your torso hurts. That fucking bullet doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Eventually, you screech down to what looks like an industrial complex. The guards get down, and they don't drag you. They are a little gentle with you. They take you in. They take you in to what looks like some sort of a server room. And in the server room, they kind of put you down on this chair here. Person who looks clearly seems to be the boss, he steps up. What the fuck happened to him? He was not supposed to be hurt. You fucking idiots. And they don't say anything, they just stand there with their heads down. Alright, fucking patch him up. Now! This guy comes running down. Nero, he gives you what looks like a stim. That basically just gives you like an adrenaline shot when you're kind of like fading away with the blood loss. It just brings you back. He then performs like not exactly surgery to pull the bullets out, but like a quick hack fix. He stems the bleeding with a couple of shots of what you don't know. You can't make out in your haze what the are, but you can clearly feel that the pain is subsiding. You can feel the bullets in you, but the pain is there. But you don't feel like blood dripping down your torso anymore. And you're slowly coming out of your stupor.
Nero just kind of takes a deep breath. And he opens his eyes wide at first and then closes them tight again and then shakes his head a little bit and opens his eyes and looks around and waits for everything to stop being blurry. His head's just kind of waving a little back and forth. And he looks up. What the fuck happened to me? What the fuck is going on?
Mr. Nero, I apologize for the manner in which you were brought here. You were not meant to get hurt.
Who the fuck are you?
And at that point, he basically gives you a backhanded slap across your face. You will speak when I ask you to speak. Till then, you will shut up and listen.
And he
if you know what is
spits out
good for
blood onto the floor.
Well, that's much better. So, where was I? Yes, I apologize for bringing you here in this state. You were not meant to get hurt till it was your time to get hurt. To me, it seems you are unaware what your mission was. Do you know what's in this box?
My mission. No, I don't know what's in the box. I'm not paid to know what's in the box. Shit. And he looks around at the other little guy sitting next to him. You guys are the ones that were there. You stole it. You stole the box. That was our pay. That was our job. What is going on here? And he's just getting agitated.
Mr. Nero, no need to get agitated. It was your oversight as well. And I must say it's not completely your fault. And this guy is kind of pacing up and down the room. We had our information. We knew that the deal was going down. And we saw an opportunity and took it. Mr. Sachs can go suck a bag of dicks. I couldn't care less. But now we have what is clearly most precious right now in the market. Would you like to see what's in the black box?
I don't give a fuck what's in the box. I was paid to bring that back to Mr. Sachs. He's not going to be happy about this.
I think at this point, you need to be worried about me more than Mr. Sachs. He is not in the picture anymore. You are here right now, and I control the situation, Mr. Nero. So you have a choice. You could find out what's in the box and see where that rabbit hole goes, or you could die right here, right now.
God damn it. God damn it. I should have stayed home tonight. I knew I fucking should have stayed home tonight. Sure. Whatever. Alright, Baldy, what's in the box?
He smiles. He takes the box out. He opens it. Let me send this to you so you can react appropriately. Yep, those are my messages to you.
So Nero opens the box and he inspects it, and he looks at the casing, and it's obviously military grade tech for him, and he's just like, who the fuck are you guys? And what is in this? What information is on this? You know, this, god damn it, this could get us all killed.
Well, Mr. Nero, death is gonna come to everyone. The question is, what can you do before it comes to you? And Nero, before you get a chance to say anything more, this guy comes from behind you, grabs both your arms, pins you down. Craven steps forward, and you can see now you realize a lot of computer equipment around. He places the box on one of the desks, connects it to the computer, looks at you, smiles, and jacks you in.
And Nero's eyes roll to the back of his head as that familiar feeling of kind of floating in space, but at the same time, the feeling in your gut when you're going over a big hill or down a roller coaster gives way, and he knows immediately that he's jacked in.
And your eyes open, and as you kind of get used to the surrounding, Nero, you see in the distance what clearly looks like a security program manifesting itself into some sort of monster. And as your screen fades to black, you can hear yourself scream in cyberspace.
And he screams and screams and screams.
Yin. At this point, the blood is flowing much faster. You need medical help. What will you do?
Yin clutches her side in pain there and quickly pulls out her phone or compad there. So I've got connected as one of my foci. So I'm wondering if I can use one of my contacts, because it says gain contact as a bonus skill. If you've spent at least a week in not entirely hostile location, you've built a web of contacts willing to do favors that are no more than mildly illegal. I'm wondering if I could contact someone maybe in my general area or something to come and help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's gonna try and patch through to someone, anyone she knows to come help her.
The phone rings. There is no answer. You get a little more frantic. You start going down your list of numbers. No one seems to be answering. It's not uncommon. People are doing jobs. People are on the night. It is late in the night at this point. You're getting down that list. That list is getting smaller. And it's inexorably leading you to that one last number that you did not want to call.
And what is the number?
Your brother.
Damn it. Ian hasn't spoken to her brother in over 3 years, but maybe she'll look up and she'll see if just to quickly You see all of our options if this guy is still around.
Go ahead.
Alright.
Make that
Notice plus wisdom or intelligence?
roll. Notice plus wisdom, please.
Yeah, no.
You're not sure if he's around. You're not sure if he's gonna come. You're not sure if he went with the truck.
Oh, she's gonna pull out her compad again and take a deep inhale. That vaporizer there. And she'll press the call button.
The phone rings. Line connects. And a familiar voice says, Chiako? And with that, the screen fades to black. We're done for the night.
Oh my god, so good. Ah.
I want more. I want more.
Stopping recording.
Oh yeah.